right, tell us who you are, where you from.
My name is Brian Lang. Born and raised here in the city of Las Vegas. Played at the Great Cimarron Memorial, 1999, baby. You know,
Okay, how long you been coaching?
man, I've been coaching probably about, I would say, over 15 years. Then that's gonna tell my real age.
What made you start coaching?
My love for the game. I couldn't play no more because I had a son. So I came back from overseas and I did the G League and stuff. And so um, I wanted to coach my son because he loved basketball. And I had a group of kids that I've been having, like, Puka Nakua, Antoine Jackson, Jalen Hill, my son, Chance Michaels, Joe Epstein. I had a bunch of them, but that was my first real group of kids that really made me start loving the game of coaching.
How do you know when a kid is ready to be trained?
I say every kid is ready to be trained, especially at this age. They're growing so fast; it's so different compared to when I grew up. I mean, about 5 or 6 years old, you could really start them and get them into it. But the fundamentals is everything. You need those fundamentals of the basketball game.
What advice do you have for up and coming coaches?
Coach, teach. You got to teach. We may think the kids know something, but they really don't. A lot of coaches don't coach from their heart. They coach because of their ego. And that's the worst thing that happens here in Vegas now with coaches and stuff like that. It's just like, you got to coach from here.
Let's see. What do you bring to the table as far as the basketball community in Las Vegas?
Well, my goal has always been with coaching is to change kids' futures. A lot of kids, some kids that I've been dealing with, I've had some fortunate kids, I've had some kids that are unfortunate. And what I mean that is I try to change the way they can get out of here. Basketball could be a tool to get you to a college, to get you an education. That's how you use it. But if you don't have the books, then you don't have basketball. You can play basketball your whole life, and if you don't got no grades, then what's the point? Especially where the game is nowadays. Why would I come get a 17, 18-year-old kid who don't have grades when I can go get a 21, 22-year-old grown man who's played the game of basketball already now? This is college coaches' jobs are on the line. So, why?
How do you feel about young kids doing AAU travel ball?
I love AAU travel ball. I'm not gonna lie, I've been an AAU coach. That's how I started out coaching. So I just think that kids don't need to play every weekend. It's like a car. You study putting miles on your body every weekend, playing tournament after tournament after tournament, and they think that's good. It's not. That's why we have so many injuries. You have kids with young injuries nowadays because, again, they playing a lot of basketball and a lot of games. I see kids in Vegas run from one court to the other court, put on a whole different jersey sometimes. Just got out of a different jersey. So, I mean, the constant wear and tear at a young age adds up when they get older.
What are some things that you want people to remember you for when it comes to the sport of basketball?
Oh, I coached hard and I love the game. I love every player on my team. I mean, good, bad, ugly, and just how I poured into the game. I poured into these kids, how I coached like I played the game, hard. And every time I was out there, I gave it my all. Every time I'm coaching, I give it my all. Sometimes I leave the games on the weekends and I don't have a voice because, again, Yeah, I may have been yelling, but I'm also teaching. And a lot of people don't hear that because they don't know. They're not in practices with you. They only see the games. So if they see the games, they only see me yelling, but it's some stuff that I done worked on in practice, and now we're not implementing the game plan. So, just to love the game the way I love the game and the way I love, helping the kids and seeing them shine and smile.
How do you feel about kids being held back?
Whew, man, that's a big one. Reclassification, everybody. The game has changed. I mean, if I could have had somebody to reclassify me and give me an extra year, and the guidance that I could have had, like I give these kids now, or everyone else around the city, man, it's amazing. You're giving them an extra year to grow, to mature, but when you do it, you just got to make sure you all in. You got to have a plan. Some people I see hold their kids back and don't have a plan, which, what are you doing it for then? Because obviously when you reclassify them, you're doing it for sports. So if you're going to do it, do it. Go all in. Invest the money, Our problem is we don't invest. We'll go and buy that nice purse or whatever, but we won't invest in our kids or invest in a good trainer that's going to give your kids the knowledge and train them, because it's not an easy thing to develop a person like that. I mean, over time they're going to get better, but the knowledge that we have compared to a lot of people that haven't played the game or coached the game.
Longer. I'm gonna switch my battery. Cool. I know. And action. So when did you first start playing basketball?
Ooh, and I used to follow my uncle around, Anthony Woods, around all the time. He had his homeboys, Mike Meade, Tom Vernon, Julius Davis, and I used to always go up to the parks at Angel Park with him, running home to the streetlights. My grandma racing home so I didn't get in trouble with my granny. But that's when I really fell in love with the game, because I would go to the park and play with them, be older, the youngest guy out there playing with older guys, and still be late going home to my grandma, and I would get a whooping behind it. And that's when I knew, I'm like, man, I love basketball. I'm going to take a whooping just because I'm at the park playing with my uncle, and he don't got to be home for the street lights, but I do. And I'm with him, but I still got to get home. So that's when I really fell in love with it. And then as I got older, my mom put me in Doolittle, because I used to go to school over there at Brindley, so it wasn't really no competition. Me and Marcus Banks was the only two kids really over there at one point. And so I went to Doolittle. And I fell in love with Doolittle over there. Coach Lee White was my coach. We played for the Sixers. Me and Marcus Banks played in the backcourt together. We ended up winning the championship at Doolittle, and then thereon, it just took off.
Where did you play in high school?
I played at the Great Cimarron Memorial, state champions, 1999. Great year. I had a great coach, Coach Hank Girardi. He instilled a lot in me, a lot of discipline, coming from a single home, so it was more of single parent home, and he was more like a coach and a father figure to me as well, because he was tough on me and he instilled a lot of discipline in me, so it was important.
So after high school, what did you do?
And I went to college. I went to hold on, man, cut, man. You got me with that one. That was a real one right there. I went to JUCO. I ended up going to JUCO, Mount Hood Community College. I played out there. I took some of my teammates with me. Cornell Williams and Larry Graves. We all went to school together at Mount Hood. We went up there and we was killing. Played in NWAC. We was out there crushing. I mean, I think we made the Oregonian paper. You know, it was probably the first time that it ever happened like that at JUCO. We were out there putting up points. We went on a tear. We had a road trip, and I think I went for like 45 one night, and the next night I went for 40. But I had my 2 Vegas dudes with me that I grew up playing ball against, and so we was out there just having the ball.
So after college, what was the next step?
What I do next step was ABA. I played in the ABA. Went playing the ABA here for the Las Vegas Rattlers team. Roy Hammond owned the team. Todd Trippett was my coach. I had Spencer Hayward. He was coaching us. I played with some good guys like Lou Kelly, my boy Maurice Riddick, who over at Arizona Compass now. Carl Mitchell, DeJuan, my boy Will, who trained now. So we had a pretty good team. It was pretty nice cats, a lot of Vegas cats here. But I came home and did that for a year, and then I ended up going overseas.
How was overseas?
Oh, I love Europe. I love Germany. It was probably the best time of my life, and also the toughest time of my life, because I was over there playing basketball, doing something that I loved, and I was having success at it. But it was also hard because I had a young boy at home that I had to fly back and forth to see, or to even talk to him on the phone. I would have to go to the internet cafe and talk to him, and had to see him and stuff like that. So I loved Europe. Europe was beautiful. I learned German, learned how to speak German when I was over there. I met some great people, built some great relationships. My coach was great, Coach Wash. He was from Detroit. He was tough on me, but he taught me the law of the land and being in Europe and Germany. So I really appreciate that. But it was a great time. I loved Europe. I would love to go back.
How did you get with the Vegas Elite?
Years ago, we had all Monty Buckley, Sitter, and me. We all started Vegas Elite. Really, Sitter and Buck had started originally and brought me all over, and so I started coaching. And so once I started coaching over there, we went to nationals in Portland. We won a Nike tournament out there 2 years in a row. I had some great kids on there who ended up becoming great young men. So now I came back because, again, I don't have no horse in this race. My son's gone, and which better way than to help my community through something that I love. The lives I teach, the knowledge I give, because I can't take it with me. So giving it back and helping create players and helping change lives has been a big thing for me.
You said your son's gone. What do you mean your son's gone?
Well, he don't play basketball no more. He used to play. He played at CSN. Now he just works. He decided he didn't want to play the game no more. So when I say that, it means that, he don't play no game no more.
Are there any players that you've coached that you feel inspire you, or you see yourself in those types of players?
I coach a lot of players, so any of them that I see doing the work outside of the game, and usually if you want to be good, it's going to take more hours to put into the game. So when I see kids come in the gym and they work out by themselves, that's self-motivating. I didn't grow up having a trainer. So to see a kid go and work out on his own, that inspires me. But I see something in all these kids. They play a game that I love the most, so I'm inspired by all of them when they get out there. Good, bad. So I can't complain. I love it.
What separates you from other coaches or trainers?
Ooh. Everybody's unique in their own special way. I just say I love the game so much and I hate losing still. If you coach the game and you are okay with losing, then you're not a real coach. Because again, you want to see your work. You want to see what you do in practice and see if it really works. I coached years ago at Vegas Elite, and I had some stuff that was successful. I went to the high school ranks, and I had some kids, and excuse me, and it was successful with what I did with them. And to come back now and have a different group of kids, and my son's not in here. I just got all these kids. I may know some of their brothers. I might have coached some of their sisters. But to see my work and see what I put into it and the way my mind works, I coach from here. And like I said, a lot of coaches are coaching for the egos. And I don't believe that. Maybe when I first got in the game, I probably was. I had some coaches, Coach Locke and Coach Ennis, told me that maybe. But now I'm a little seasoned, so I can see it like a lot of these coaches. And the best advice I can give them is love the game. If you love the game and you continue to watch the game and evolve with the game, you'll be great. And that's what I always want to do. I just think that what I teach and the message that I send the kids, my delivery, it works. And I feel that, I can't say I separate myself, but I'm unique in my own way.
Who have you seen go from a kid to a professional level that you coach?
I seen Puka Nakua. He was it's funny because me and his mom used to talk all the time on road trips, and she got like 5 boys. They like the Brady Bunch family. So I used to tell her all the time, I said, we're going to be watching one of your kids play in the NFL stadium. But Puka played basketball. He was really good. He was very athletic. And then all of a sudden they just, I always knew he was going to play football, but to see him play basketball, he always went hard. He always liked to play the best kids. Seeing who else? Zach Collins, seeing him, from younger. Zach was a bigger kid always. He always shot the 3, just like he looked now. He's just bigger. He's always had that attitude, that that feistiness. So Steven Zimmerman, Jordan Davis. I mean, the list goes on. The kids I've seen, Troy. I mean, I've seen a lot of basketball in Vegas. A lot.
Where do you want to go next with coaching and training?
Man, listen, I got some family members, that are younger. I think they got some potential. So I just want to continue to, carve my path. I think that whatever God's going to choose for me, He going to make me go there and put me there. So I'm just doing His work right now. So we'll see where He takes me. I would love to go maybe sit on the NBA bench and do some player development stuff. Definitely. But we'll see wherever He takes me.
And what is the hello? I noticed you always wear the hello shirt.
Oh, come on. You letting the secret out the bag already. It's my brand. So it's it means something, and pretty soon it'll come out. I'm not starting an AAU team or anything. It's just, this is my clothing brand, and so my training brand is going to be the same. But, hello. Like, you cross somebody over, hello. Dunk on somebody, it's just a figure of speech. And, just when people walk by you, I always felt I'm a big guy. People see me on the sideline screaming, but I'm still a gentle giant. So, when I see people who don't speak, I always be like, hello, right in their face, or, it's just common courtesy. But I like it.
If you had to give a message to the youth, those that are in high school in particular, that are trying to take this to the next level, what do you think they should be focused on in high school?
Well, first of all, grades. Gotta focus on the grades because you can tear ACL, you can break a leg, then what? What do you have to fall back on? But if you really want to play this game at a high level, put the time in. Study your craft. That's what all the greats did. Jordan studied Julius Erving and those guys. Kobe studied Jordan. LeBron went and studied all of them. So again, study some of the greats that came through here. There's a lot of great players that came through Las Vegas. A lot of them. A lot of people don't know them. Especially this younger generation. When I see a lot of them play, I see a lot of different people. I see kids that have uncles that play that they look like now. So study the game, fall in love with the game, keep working, and don't look at these rankings. Everybody look at the rankings and all that, because guess what? It only take one time in front of some college coaches, or if you in a place where some NBA scouts, it only take one time. So just continue to work. But again, you got to make sure you're doing the right work.
Do you have any regrets in your basketball road to where you are now?
I wouldn't say regrets. I would say lessons learned. Because when you do something, you learn and you get better from it. That's what you're supposed to do. So I wouldn't say any regrets. I would say if I was put in a situation again, I would probably do it different. And be different about it. You'll learn in this basketball game. It's hard to trust a lot of people. It's hard to trust people, period. But then once you get into this game and you're on a different level than some people, or a little bit more than them, it's hard to trust people in this game, and just those are lessons that I've learned, so I can't say they're regrets because, I learned something from it along the way that makes me better and puts me in a situation where now I got to make sure I not only protect myself, but also protect the brand.
Okay, and lastly, give me 5 most important things that matter to you, and what's your most recent goal that you're aiming for?
Well, first and foremost is God. Yeah, head of my life, my family. Sheesh. My that's a tough one right there, because in this big life, in this big age that I am now, a lot of stuff that I used to thought mattered doesn't matter anymore to me like it used to when I was younger. So I would probably say I would want to be my third one. I got God, family. I would probably say the business next. Business and my community and just probably love, because I'm a big smiley guy. I like to spread love and talk. I'll go to any place and talk to anybody. So those are 5 things that are important to me, because some people have bad days, and sometimes you can cheer them up with simple words.
And the recent goal you're accomplishing?
Recent goal I'm accomplishing. To come out with this training program that I'm looking at doing. That's my recent goal. I think it's gonna be nice. I think it is.
Okay. So now you can just tell them your name, tell them what you have coming up next, and I'll use that as an outro.
Again, my name is Brian Lang. I'm born and raised here in the city of Las Vegas. And what I got coming up is the month of July. All those teams that beat me, my young kids, my teams, I'll see y'all in July. Because one thing about it is I need to get my lick back.